Okay, so here we are at week 2 of Internet Business Models. Tonight we're going to review the week 2 assignments, and then we're going to go into detail as I explain the business model canvas, the different areas of it, and how to use it for your assignment this week, and then anything else you'd like to talk about. So your discussion topic this week is on business model storytelling. So hopefully this will be a fun topic for you. You can use some of your creativity. So for your post, there's a company called Super Toast, and Super Toast can be any type of company you want it to be. It could be a company that manufactures products, that provides a certain type of service, that has created a mobile app. Like, it can be anything that you want it to be. Use your imagination and creativity obviously within the bounds of reason and relatively current technology. And then you're going to describe how the company works using the components of a business model. So who are its customers? What are its revenue streams? What are its main costs? What's its unique value proposition? What channels does it use? What partners does it rely on? So you're going to kind of integrate all of that into a story. So it should be a narrative format, not bullet points, and do the best you can to hit all of the areas of the business model canvas and make it as
cut it down.
Oh, all right. So that's your discussion post. And then don't forget that you also have your weekly post to the rework discussion board. So hopefully you are enjoying that book. And just make sure to post this week on the second set of chapters to read.
Yes, ma'am.
Your assignment this week is a case study analysis. So I give you a list of well-known companies to choose from. Zappos is one of them, as well as Netflix, Facebook, 1-800-Flowers.com, Travelocity, lots of different ones to choose from. So you're going to research that company, find out about it, and then you're going to fill out a PowerPoint template for your case study analysis. So I give you the PowerPoint template so that you know what needs to go on each slide. Decorate the PowerPoint template, so find a nice slide design to use for the slides, and then you're going to do a click analysis from the point of view of the founder of the company. So what was the founder's likes and interests and experience and background that led him or her, or the team of them, whoever founded the company, to actually decide to start this business. And then after you do that, you'll do a SWOT analysis. So what is the current state of the company in the SWOT analysis? You'll do a competitor analysis. You'll do the business model canvas, which is what we're going to go over tonight. And then you're going to talk about any alternative business models or alternative revenue streams that company could use. So that's your assignment for this week. Any questions on that?
No.
Okay, great. So let's talk about the business model canvas. So here's what it looks like. And this is everything that I'm going over tonight is also covered in your ebook, Business Model Generation, which is where I'm getting this from. So if you need to go back, and refer to some of these things, please do. Obviously, you should be reading the assigned pages in the book as well, because they also have examples in there of the business model canvas filled out. So I think I mentioned last week that the idea behind the business model canvas came about because a group of people decided that just having to say a business plan, which is pages and pages of documents, is useful sometimes when getting loans or getting investors, but not very useful when you need to figure out, okay, well, what other types of products should my business be creating, or other services, or I'm ready to start a new business. Who should be my customer segments, and what would be the channels that I would use to get to them? Things like that. So they came up with this literally one page business model canvas that you fill in each of these 9 building blocks. So I'm going to go through each of these 9 here and explain what each of them is for and how you go about filling them out. So we're going to start over here on the far right-hand side of the canvas. So these are for customer segments. And so this would be who would be the most likely people to buy this particular company's product or service. And most of the time, a company will have more than one customer segment, and try to be as detailed as possible. So you could say women would buy their product, but maybe there's a specific type of woman that the company targets, maybe a certain age group, or maybe a certain income level, or a certain geographic region, or certain occupation or profession. So be very focused on the customer segments. Customer segments could also differ based on obviously the type of product. So you could have a cheaper product that maybe is targeted to a certain type of customer, like smaller businesses would have like a lower level package, and then maybe larger businesses would have a more premium package or premium product offering depending on what you're selling. So that could also differentiate your customer segment. So for whichever company you're choosing, just make sure to identify their main customer segments. Over in the middle of the canvas, you have the value propositions. So this is what makes the company unique, what helps differentiate them from their competitors. And so for each customer segment, the company will have a value proposition. So why should that particular customer segment buy from them? So that's what you want to list in the value proposition. It could be because they have a brand new product that's better than what else is out there. Could be that the company offers more customization or personalization. Maybe it's a better price, expertise, convenience. Maybe it's a brand or a status symbol. So if someone's buying a Rolex watch, they're not buying the Rolex because of the gears that are in the watch. They're buying it because of the status symbol that it conveys. So make sure to indicate again for each customer segment what is the value proposition for them. And so just think about this for value proposition. Why will customers love you, love the company or the product that you're selling? So channels, which is down here, is how the value proposition is delivered to each customer segment. So, how does the company raise awareness of their product or service, provide information about it, actually enable people to buy it? How do they deliver it, and how do they provide support? So, channels could be the company's website, it could be affiliates, it could be a brick and mortar location, it could be mobile apps or a mobile website, it could be through social media channels that they raise awareness or they provide support. So all of these different things are channels and how they relate, how they provide information, sales, and support to their customers. Customer relationships are up here along the top of the canvas. And this is how the company provides the value proposition to the customer segments in the sense that is it personal. So if you're providing marketing consulting to companies, there's probably probably a personal relationship that you're providing. So you're talking to the person on the phone, or you're sitting down to them with them face to face, or you're doing a Skype session, and so it's not cookie cutter. Not every business will get the same marketing consulting services from you. On the other hand, e-commerce stores like Amazon are very much self-service and automated. There's no Amazon sales associate who you're talking to on the phone who's helping you decide what type of product to buy and helping you with the sales process. No, you go to Amazon, you search for what you want, you click to buy it, you complete the shopping cart process, and you've bought it. So it's very much self-service and automated. Community is when you have a group of people who are all coming together to provide some type of information or support to each other. So if you have the company has discussion forums where customers help each other out with support issues, or who are providing some type of assistance or with that with the company's products or service, and that would be community. Co-creation are sites like YouTube where people are creating their own content and uploading it to the site. Because remember, YouTube doesn't actually create any content. It's really everyone else who's creating the content, and YouTube is providing the platform. So in that sense, YouTube's customer relationship would be co-creation. So companies can have any one of these or a combination of these, and they could be different based on the customer segment. So they could have one customer segment where they offer a personal customer relationship and another customer segment that is more of a self-service or automated approach. Down along the bottom of the canvas on the right-hand side is the section for revenue streams. Obviously, this is really important because this is how companies make money. So this you would list here all of the different ways that the company brings in money. So there could be one-time sales or one-time fees, like for example, e-commerce sites, you sell a product and the company gets paid for it. It could be recurring fees. So if they have monthly subscriptions or yearly subscriptions, they could be brokerage fees, so like transaction fees every time that PayPal has a transaction that you use PayPal. PayPal makes a percentage of that, so that's a brokerage fee. The company could sell advertising space or some type of usage fees or licensing or leasing of their products. So for the revenue streams, indicate the different ones. And also, if the company uses free, then you want to indicate that as well. So, for example, if they have a free plan and then they have premium plans, then you want to indicate that they have a free plan as well. Key resources are over here towards the left-hand side of the canvas, and key resources fall into four different categories. And resources are the assets that the company has that helps it to actually create its product or and service and to deliver it. So it could be physical resources if they have machines, IT systems, data centers, factories, machines that actually create their products. Could be intellectual resources, so they have intellectual property, brands, copyrights, proprietary knowledge. So information that only that they have. So for example, Coca-Cola has the secret recipe to make Coca-Cola itself, and it's locked in a bank vault in Atlanta, Georgia. And obviously it's very much proprietary knowledge to them. They don't want anyone else to have that recipe. Human resources would be employees, so scientists and engineers that a company needs. So if you're a pharmaceutical company, you obviously have chemists and scientists on your staff. And if you're a computer company like Google and Facebook, you have a lot of computer scientists and engineers and network administrators working there to help keep your company going. And then you have financial resources that can be cash, lines of credit, or stock options. So if you as a company have a good amount of money that where you can acquire other companies, that can a lot of times be very useful because you may not necessarily want to have to build a certain technology in-house. Maybe you don't have the time or you don't want to have to hire people. So instead it's a lot easier just to acquire another company. So for example, Microsoft acquired Skype about a year or so ago. eBay actually had owned Skype and they acquired it. And so now Microsoft has Skype. Now you could say, well, Microsoft could have built the equivalent technology to Skype. And yes, they could have. But why did Microsoft want to buy Skype? Because then they get all the user base that's already using it. But the reason Microsoft was able to do that is because they have a lot of cash, lines of credit, and they also have stock options to offer in order to be able to buy another company. Okay. Key activities are above key resources. So the key activities are the things that the company has to keep doing in order to continue to provide its product or service. So does it have to keep producing the actual product? So it has to manufacture it. If it's a digital product, then it has to, create new music or new ebooks or digital downloads or whatever it happens to be making. If you're providing consulting services, then it obviously you have to continue to do that. So you probably have to continue to keep up to date with the current trends in your industry, do training, uh, and obviously sell to your clients as well and to provide those service. If you're a platform or a network, so if you're Google or Facebook or Twitter, you have to make sure your network is up, that your IT infrastructure is sound and is working. So those would be the key activities. What do you have to keep doing in order to make sure that your business is running and hopefully growing? Okay. Key partners are on the far left hand side. So a lot of times companies will have partners because they just don't want to do everything in house or they just can't because it's just too much and they don't have the resources to be able to do it. So for example, if you want to manufacture iPhone cases, then most likely you probably are not going to want to build your own factory from scratch and purchase all the machines that you need in order to create those iPhone cases and then get the shipping containers and ship them to everywhere they need to go to the different retail outlets or wherever it happens to be. Instead, you would use partners. So you would partner with a company that provides space in a factory that's already built. And then you would work with companies like UPS and FedEx and shipping companies to ship your products. You wouldn't create all that from scratch. It really wouldn't make any sense. If you provide marketing services or web development and design services, you probably use hosting companies to host your own website and your clients' websites. And because it doesn't really make sense for you personally to buy servers and to build a data center or to run the servers themselves, you're using hosting companies as a partner. So partners don't have to be official partnership agreements. They can just be other companies or individuals that you rely upon. And finally, bottom left-hand side here is the cost structure. So cost structure are the main expenses that the company has to run their business. So it could be that they spend a lot of money on labor. So the employees are a big aspect of their business. Maybe it's a sales team or support staff. It could be actual manufacturing of the products. So they have raw materials, they have factory that they need, they have shipping cost. It could be they do a lot of marketing and advertising, so they have those kind of cost. So cost structure again, are what are the main expenses for that company? So here are other all 9 building blocks here in the business model canvas. Do you have any questions about it before we go through a couple of examples?
No, I've been studying on it a while. It's really, the book goes very, very in depth
Mm-hmm.
as to which each segment has like several different entities underneath it. So it's pretty in depth.
Mm-hmm.
So the book does a really good job, but you kind of did the bullet points, which
Mm-hmm.
enhances upon that. So thank you so much.
Yes, and that's actually a good point. So for your assignment, you don't have to be quite as detailed with some of the extra descriptions that the book goes into because they get extremely detailed, which is good for when you want to do this for yourself for your own business. But in this case, for your case study analysis, you may not have or know that much information about the company that you're researching. It just may not be possible to find out about that. So really what I'm looking for is enough that will fit on a PowerPoint slide because really this all of this is just one PowerPoint slide. So yeah, it's good. Okay, so let's take a look here at Google. So I did the business model canvas for Google, and you'll see that it's not a whole lot of detail, but it's enough to give you a really good idea of how Google's business model works. So we're going to start here on the right-hand side under customer segments. So for this purpose, Google has 3 main customer segments: advertisers. So those are the people who buy Google ads; web surfers. So those are all of us who use Google. So we use google.com to search, we use Gmail, we use Google Docs and all of that. And then there's content owners. So these are people who have websites or blogs and they put Google ads on them. So the value proposition. So what is the value proposition for advertisers? Well, they get targeted ads in the form of AdWords, which is great because really Google's innovation back about 12 years ago now, when Google AdWords first came out, was that advertisers could bid on the words that people were searching on. Before Google, if you went to the main search engines of the time, Yahoo and Alta Vista and InfoSeek and all the ones that were out there, and you were searching for things, you really were going to a portal. Portals were huge back then. So they had, kind of like what Yahoo looks like now: news information, and entertainment, and lifestyle, and finance. And then you'd have a search bar on the top. And all the advertisements that were on there, especially on the homepage of the portal, were were put there based on who wanted to pay the most. So it could be an ad for life insurance or for computers or for some type of product or who knows what it was, cat food. And so, but it really had no relevance to what you, as the person coming to the page, wanted to see or was interested in buying. So it was just kind of whoever paid the most would get put on there, much kind of like how TV ads work now with Super Bowl ads, for example. You get to, as a company, you get a Super Bowl ad if you're willing to pay $4 million for it. So kind of just went to the highest bidder, but who knows how targeted it is. When Google decided instead is that they would show ads that were related to what people were searching on. So if I went into Google and I did a search for desktop computer or for PC, then I would see ads on the search results page related to computers. Obviously, that made sense rather than showing me ads for cat food because obviously I have an intent. I'm looking for computers for a reason. And so advertisers can bid on those keywords. And then the ones who bid the most, and it's a complicated algorithm, those were the ads that were shown. And then, of course, you only get charged. The advertiser gets charged when someone actually clicks on the ad. So it's pay per click. Okay, so that's the value proposition for advertisers. They get targeted ads based on search intent. For web surfers, for those of us, we get free search and apps. So we get to use all these great technologies that Google provides, Google Chrome, Google Plus, Google Docs, Gmail, all of that for free. We don't have to pay anything for it because what we're doing is we're giving Google our eyeballs. And of course, they're hoping that we click on all those ads so they can make money from the advertisers. And then finally, for content owners, those people who have websites and blogs, they can put Google Ads, which is called AdSense, on their sites. And then when someone clicks on one of the ads, that content owner gets paid money. So people with very popular sites who get a decent amount of web traffic can actually make some money from Google AdSense. But of course, you need the traffic because you need people to click on those ads. Okay, so channels. So channels that Google uses are obviously its website, all of its different apps, so Gmail and Dual Docs and Chrome and all that, mobile, and then social media. Customer relationships with Google is very much self-service and automated. So if you want to go set up Google Ads, you log in, you create an account, and you set up your ads, you choose your keywords, you create your ads, and so on. There's no one there who's talking to you on the phone who's guiding you through that process. Now, if you spend a lot of money on Google AdWords, like $1 million or more, then you'll get a personal account representative from Google and they'll help you out. But if you're just a regular person or if you need help with Gmail and you have an email question, there's no phone number for you to call Google. It's basically automated self-service and then there's the community to help you out. So there's discussion forums and things so people help each other. We'll save revenue streams for the end. Key resources, remember we're 4 different categories. So there was physical resources like IT systems. Obviously, Google has a lot of those, all of its servers and data centers. It has human resources, engineers and computer scientists. It has intellectual resources, its brand name, its computer algorithms, all the code that it has. And then finally, it has financial resources and lots of cash. And about a year and a half ago, Google purchased Motorola's mobility division. And they didn't purchase it because Motorola had any particular technology that related to mobile that Google needed, but rather they purchased them because they needed the patents that Motorola held regarding some mobile uh, things, mobile technology, because Google was getting sued because of some things that were in Android that Motorola had patents for. So Google decided, well, we're just going to buy Motorola, and they spent over $1 billion to buy Motorola's mobility division. And the reason they were able to do that is because they have the cash to do so. So key activities, these are the things that Google has to keep doing in order to keep running. It has to manage its platform, its IT system. Otherwise, we won't be able to use it. It has to manage the services that it offers, so all those different apps and the AdWords and all of that. And then it constantly has to expand its reach because it wants to get more eyeballs on its property so that it can continue to make money from ads. And so that's why it creates Google Plus and it creates Chrome and all of these different ways to get people to continue to use Google products. Key partners include mobile phone manufacturers, all those like Samsung who use the Android mobile operating system, as well as other partners. Cost structure, those would be the main expenses that Google has. So obviously, all of its IT costs and then sales and support staff would be its main cost. And then finally, revenue streams. So, how does Google make money? Well, those keyword auctions where the advertisers pay every time someone clicks on an ad free. Google definitely uses free with by providing all of its apps for free. And then Google takes a 30% cut of any application that's purchased through the Android App Store. And that's standard 30%. Apple takes 30% in the iPhone App Store as well. Okay, any questions about the business model canvas, how I just went through filling it out? This is basically how you're going to do yours for the case study analysis.
Got it.
Good? Okay, great. All right. So, did you get a chance to read the articles on Groupon?
Yes.
Okay, good. Have you used Groupon before?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. So you're familiar
Actually,
with
I
how it
received
works.
a little bit. I received one for my birthday and I studied
Mm.
on it a little bit more. And we do this thing called a daily deal, which is a lot like Groupon. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay, good, good, good. All right, so let's go ahead then. We're going to fill out the business model canvas together for Groupon, just so you get more of a sense of how this works. All right, I need to come out of full screen mode here for a second. Okay, let's see if it gets a little bigger. No, that does not help. Hmm. No, it's not want to go any bigger. Okay. I know it's kind of small, but just, we'll do the best we can. Okay, so customer segments. So who are the customer segments for Groupon? I'm sorry to put you on the spot, Teresa.
Oh, that's okay. I came up with mass market.
Okay.
Basically because it's over the internet, it's grown nationally pretty much. It reaches such an area because it's not like structured like for a certain market. You can be a doctor's office, you could be
Hmm.
a pizza company. So it's more of a mass market to me.
Yes, that's good. So we have consumers. So yeah, definitely mass market. So it would be all of us who purchase Groupons. Yeah, which and it runs like you mentioned, it runs the gamut. It could be anything from a dentist to a pizza place to a hair salon. It's all different types of places. So that's one segment, the consumers, and then who's on the other side?
The suppliers, so it's a buyer supplier, or yeah,
Right. So the businesses.
buyer buyer.
So the dentist and the pizza place and the hair salon, mostly local businesses for the most part. So I'm going to add local here. Mostly
Right.
local businesses who sign up to offer Groupons. So to offer the daily deal. So those are the two main customer segments for Groupon. So value proposition. So why would they want to use Groupon?
Price.
Mm-hmm.
So because it's a cost reduction, um, accessibility, it's convenient, it's usable. They even have like a length of time that you have to take advantage of your
Mm-hmm.
Groupon. So it's kind of a risk reduction.
Mm-hmm.
I think the newness of it was a great
Mm,
impact because it was something that we had not yet or we had not yet seen. So
right.
when Groupons first come out and we started receiving the email blast, it was something new to us.
That's a great point. And now that the newness has worn off a bit, people have some fatigue when it comes to getting those
Yes.
emails all the time. So yeah,
Mhm.
so Groupon is definitely facing some challenges as you would have
Yeah,
read in the articles.
we are.
Okay, so good. Now, what about for local businesses? Why would they want to use Groupon?
Local businesses would want to use it to create a larger customer base. They want to
Hmm.
tap into how would I put this? They want to, because Groupon has a larger customer base than they
Hmm.
do.
Hmm.
So they're going to get more customers,
Right.
um, more exposure. It can
Hmm.
even help them brand.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So Groupon says to them basically, we have 1 million people on our email list in your metro area, so for Orlando. And so we will be able to send out your offer to the 1 million people in Orlando who now will know about your hair salon or your restaurant who otherwise would never you would never be able to advertise to them in any other way to that such a large segment of people. So that's, but then we're going to talk a little bit more about why this doesn't always work out quite the way local businesses hope or the way Groupon sells it. All right. So customer relationships. So remember, those could be personal, self service, automated, community. So for the consumers, the people who buy the Groupons, what kind of customer relationship do they have with Groupon?
Um,
How do they purchase the Groupon?
my apologies.
No, that's good.
They purchase them through email. They can buy them with their credit card. They can buy them through, I believe PayPal is a source as well. So they can use their debit card, their credit card. They can use PayPal. It's mainly
Right.
online sources,
Exactly. So it's very
self-service,
much
automated.
self-service and automated. So again, Groupon's not talking to them on the phone, trying to decide which deal is the best one for them. There's no personal relationship there. It's very much self-service and automated. Now, for local businesses, it's a little bit different. And I'm not sure if you got this in the article or not. But what Groupon actually does for local businesses is when they go into a new area, they set up a local sales team, and then the sales team starts calling the local businesses and trying to get them to sign up and use Groupon. So in this case, it is very personal because it's basically phone sales to the local businesses. And then they're working with the local businesses to decide, okay, what percentage off are we going to offer? What kind of deal we're going to offer? All of that. Okay, good. Channels. So we talked a little bit about this under relationships. So we have email, and of course, there's the website, Groupon's website. What else do they have?
That's about all I've ever seen. Is the emails, the website,
They do have
mobile
a
app.
mobile app for consumers, and then of course for the businesses, they have the phone. All right, key resources. So what resources, assets does Groupon have?
Um, I've got here, I wrote down advertising fees. I don't know if it's as much as an advertising fee. It's kind of almost like a brokership because they're getting paid to be the middle person.
Mm-hmm.
They take a percentage, like I think it's almost like 50%
Mm-hmm.
of whatever they make overall. This is one reason why customers lose money because if they have something that they've been selling for $30, they go to a Groupon for half off, and then they give half of that
Yeah,
to
right.
Groupon. They just majorly lose money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm trying to learn how to put it on the canvas. What's in my brain? Like I was thinking, a revenue stream for customer relations. So I'm trying to get it all placed
Right. No,
in the
so that
right.
was good. So what you just talked about actually goes under revenue stream. So that broker slash transaction fee, which exactly, as you said, is 50% of the deal price. And you're right. So a lot of businesses have gotten into trouble, especially those that have very slim margins, like restaurant business. Notoriously, restaurant businesses have very small margins. So, for example, if you have a restaurant and they offer a dinner for two for half off. So maybe a dinner for two is normally $40, but the restaurant uses Groupon and offers that deal for $20. So as a consumer, I'm like, wow, this is great. $20 for dinner for two at this nice Italian restaurant. Sure, I'll buy the Groupon. So I buy the Groupon for $20. The restaurant makes $10 and Groupon makes the other $10. So they get 50%. So now the restaurant only has $10 for what was a $40 dinner. So they've already lost $30 on that meal, but they're
Right.
hoping that the consumers come in and buy an appetizer and buy some drinks, alcohol because that has higher margins, buy some desserts. And that's what they're hoping for to make up that loss. And of course, have repeat business from those customers and have word of mouth spread and all of that. But what studies have shown is that what happens is that people come in and use their Groupon. Most of the time, they don't use more than whatever is the value of the Groupon. So they don't buy dessert and they don't buy drinks. They just use the $40 and that's it. And
Mhm.
they tend to not come back to that restaurant because then there's another Groupon deal for a different restaurant in the city where they can now get another half off price. So why go back to the same restaurant and pay full price? So that's where a lot of businesses have gotten into trouble. Another another thing is that sometimes businesses oversold, so they couldn't keep up with how many people actually purchased. And so they would get, flooded people coming in on the first weekend of the Groupon or even the last weekend when it was ready to expire. And they just couldn't handle that many people at one time. So people had bad experiences. And then that was not good, obviously, for the brand for that business. But I did work with a client. This was about 2 years ago. She owned a massage salon. And she had used Groupon a few months before I met her, and we did a new website for her. And she loved Groupon because she got so many people who came to her who otherwise would never have known that she existed. And even though she was offering, half off of the service, the first massage as part of the Groupon. And actually, she said she got a lot of repeat customers from it. So it was okay for her. One thing though is that she was good at was that when people came in for the first massage, is that she had them give her all of their contact information. She had to kind of anyways, but for the liability reasons. But she got their email address so she could add them to her email list and all of that. Because what Groupon does not give the businesses the names and email addresses of the people who bought the Groupon. So if you're a restaurant and you have 50 people who've bought your Groupon, the only thing you know is their Groupon code number. You don't have their email address or anything. So you can't even remarket to them, even when they purchased from you the Groupon. So the onus is upon you as the business to collect that information from the person when they come in. And a lot of businesses didn't do that. So they lost out of that chance to remarket to those people. Okay, let me put you on hold 1 second. Okay. Okay, so so revenue streams. And okay, so let's go back to key resources. So key resources would be things like the Groupon brand name. Everyone's heard of Groupon now. They were kind of the first on the scene for the daily deals, and so they're very well known. And so people know kind of where to go if they're looking for that. The other thing that Groupon has is their email list. So they have probably the largest email list of any company that is as targeted as theirs is because they know where people live, so what zip code or what geographic area for that email address. And they also know what that person likes to buy. So, for example, I have bought different types of Groupons over the past couple years. So they know them to advertise certain things to me based on what I've purchased in the past. The other thing that Groupon has is access to capital. It went public last year, early last year, and by going public, it had access to more money so that it could continue to expand and grow.
Right.
All right. So key activities. So what are the things that Groupon has to keep doing in order to keep running its
They have to
business?
they have to keep their platform. They have to be able to
Mm-hmm.
network. They're going to need to have to do some problem solving.
Mm-hmm.
um, that's all I came up with.
Okay,
Right.
that yeah, that's good. So sales, so they have to still sell to the local businesses to get them to sign up, and they have to obviously get the consumers to
Goodbye.
buy so they expand their email list. They're going to need to get more people on that, and they also have to expand internationally, which is what they have been doing. And one of the articles that I had asked you all to read is was talking about how when Groupon became really popular a couple of years ago, there were a lot of copycat sites that sprung up in countries around the world. And just because you have a trademark or a copyright here in the US, it doesn't matter in other countries. So there were literally sites with the same name, Groupon, that came up, but Groupon didn't own them. So there were other people basically profiting off of Groupon's name. And so Groupon has had to go and basically buy out all of these different companies around the world, and has been very, very expensive for them to do so. It's kind of one of the challenges with success with growing so quickly like Groupon did. Groupon was the fastest company to reach $1 billion in revenue in history.
Right. I think it's what it's valued at something like 20 billion right now.
Wow, that seems like pretty high to me right now because of the challenges that they face. But yeah, it was the fastest growing. I mean, in revenue, it actually because think about it, they were making 50% of all of those deals, and their costs were relatively minimal. I mean, they have their email list and they have their sales team, and that's pretty much it. Actually, so we just talked about cost. So we have some IT, email, and they have their sales staff and they have office space in all the cities that they're in. Okay, so partners. So who are some partners that Groupon has?
Key partners. Well, I really, I don't know. I've got the buyers and the suppliers are considered a partner to me. Um,
Yeah, the local businesses could be seen as a partner.
Let's see. They've also partnered with their IT team.
Mm-hmm.
That's another because it's like they did an outsource, so
Mm-hmm.
that becomes a partner.
Right.
Since Andrew only owns 7% of that, you know he has some financial investors. I didn't actually read as to who they are, but there's investors. I think they're getting ready to sell some stock or already have. So that's considered, I don't know if that's considered investors as well.
Yeah, I would consider investors to be partners. And
Mm.
actually, they just kicked out the CEO about a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. They just basically
Oh,
fired him.
wow.
Yeah, because he's uh, relatively young, and he kind of has his own way of doing things. And of course, like I said, Groupon's been facing challenges, and now that it's a public company, he's responsible to shareholders, people who own stock in the company,
Shareholders.
and they want the company to grow because obviously they want their stock to do better. They don't want to lose money on the stock that they purchased, and they just didn't think that he would be could be the one to lead the company to do that. So I'm sure he still made money out of the deal, but he is out as CEO. All right. The other partner I would say would be Expedia, because about a year or so ago, Groupon expanded into the travel market. So now they offer deals related to travel, so cruise packages and airline hotel packages, things like that. And that's they partnered with Expedia to offer those. They actually have some really good deals if you're looking for something. And I would also say some of the larger retailers. So they have partnered with Amazon.com and Barnes and Noble and The Gap to offer deals from these larger retailers.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say that. All right, good. So good job filling out the canvas there, Teresa, and putting you on the spot since you were the only one here. You did a great job.
That's okay. Thank you.
All right. Any questions on this? Or so you see here that I'm not so much using the verbiage that the book uses.
Right.
I'm trying to make it a little bit more into the language that we would use. But
Absolutely. And by the way, we filled out this one and the previous one on Google. I took a screenshot of it so I
mm,
can keep in my mind exactly the different sources. This helped me a lot to eliminate the confusion that I had of like getting the
mm-hmm,
revenue stream mixed up with, say, what is it, a value proposition or vice
mm-hmm.
versa.
Well,
Because
good.
I was getting to get the different segments, like which is this one, which is that one. It
Right.
helped me navigate.
Yes. Well, good. All right. Well, that's all I have for tonight. And we'll have our week 3 live class next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So, same time, same place. And thanks so much
Right.
for coming tonight and for your participation. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much. This class is much needed.
All right. Great. Well, have a great night.
You do the same.
All right. Thanks. Bye bye.